Hiya, I'm Zamen, and I want to talk about that third ninth quest dragon of the Starry Sky Sentinels. More specifically, I want to talk about the main antagonist, Corvus. Oh, and also, welcome to my little classroom. I'm still getting things set up here, so please, bear with me. Disregard the clutter if you can, I will put that fire out eventually. Now, you might be asking, why him? Why talk about Corvus when there are plenty of other Dragon Quest villains? And also plenty of more hip and sick games with cooler antagonists. Well, the reason is, I just beat the game. Like, here's a picture. And I really liked it. Also, I tried making a video on the entirety of Dragon Quest IX, but, see, I got to page 20 of the script and I was barely done explaining the prologue, so, that's gonna have to wait a while before it sees the light of day. Anyway, the main idea. Corvus, the big old bad of Dragon Quest IX, Sentinels of the Starry Night Skies. And, well, what I liked about him the most is just how refreshing he was. He was a really nice change of pace for a Dragon Quest villain. Before I go on, I should probably give you a quick history lesson on my little Dragon Quest credentials. I have only played 3 games to completion, those being Dragon Quest VII, Fragments of the Forgotten Past, my first and favorite, Dragon Quest VIII, Journey of the Cursed King, which was a quite good, and the third game is the one I just beat, the wonderful Dragon Quest IX. So when I say breath of fresh air, I mean it, because Rapthorn or Goddemer, I have no idea how to say his name, his pronunciations are not helping. Those two were these dark, evil demons hell-bent on world domination, because, with domination you know you're alive. Something along those lines. Both of them are kinda just unabashedly evil, or Goddemer in this evil, punkish, hot rock star sort of way with, like, really cool hair. He lies. While Rapthorn is just like... he's like a really vile New York rat. You know what I mean? No, wait, not like this one, but like rats in like sense. You know what I mean, The player is meant to love to hate both of them because they're cunning and without mercy. I feel nothing but dislike towards them, but I got to applaud their vile writing and respect their cunning evil. Now, put yourself in my shoes when it comes to comparing antagonists. You've played Dragon Quest VII and loved to unravel the mystery of the Forgotten Islands, the missing god, and have finally confronted this demon lord who is the clear villain, no question about it. He is a tricky liar, but entertaining. Then we jump to Dragon Quest VIII, where we have Rapthorn, a villain with a clear presence who becomes more and more active as the game goes on. You start to really hate just how slimy and how he's always like just within reach. But there's no redeeming or justifying the actions of Rapthorn. He is this vile demon who must be stopped. Screw him, right? Everyone hates Rapthorn. Both antagonists are made for the player to hate them, stop them, and save the world because they are evil. But then, one game later, we got the Corvus. Corvus, though. Wait, do I need to put spoilers for this game that's like... Wait. When did... July 11, 2000... What the fuck? Anyway, 14 years old, yeah. Wow, I was a little kid when that came out. So yeah, if you don't want spoilers for a 14-year-old game on the DS that is growing more and more expensive by the day, although my copy was like $35 last year, then go buy it. Copies are limited. Or you can just emulate it, but you didn't hear that from me. Spoilers, here we come. Although, saying that Corvus is the main antagonist is kinda, sorta, already a spoiler. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I'll try harder next time. Much apology. You can't see it, but I'm bowing my head in shame. Alright, that's probably been enough detouring. Corvus the Celestian is great, and I felt bad for beating him up. My guy, my angel, my this dude. He didn't deserve this. See, I genuinely think Corvus is a sympathetic character because his plight is sad and he serves as a great foil for the silent protagonist. Oh, in my game, the protagonist is this girl. Her name's Morkel. She can say hi. Like the protagonist, Corvus is a Celestian. basically an angel. See the wings? These beings are tasked with protecting the world of Dragon Quest IX and collecting the niceness and goodwill of humanity. Their biggest task, though, is protecting the humans from monsters, and lending them aid in small ways. They are also invisible to humans. Like, for example, remember that time you lost your ring or your keys and you spent hours looking for them, leading to you ripping open your drywall and throwing everything in your house to the floor, only to then discover that it's now caught fire because the oil you spilled and now you're burning your own house to death? But then, you find the missing item deep in your pocket? Yeah, Celestian. They found your thing and give it back. That's kind of the purpose of the Celestian, the purpose of the protagonist, and the former purpose of Corvus. Now that I've given you a small overview on Corvus' race, let me tell you about his backstory. You see, Corvus was once a great Celestian who brought happiness to the village he watched over, the village of Wormwood. However, for an unknown reason, Corvus was struck from the heavens and fell to the land of humans. Now visible to them and injured, he has his wounds tended to by a woman named Serana. At first, everyone is naturally wary to the stranger from the sky, but eventually they start to warm up to him. Then in the midst of his recovery, the town of Wormwood is beset upon by the Giddish Empire. This generic evil empire that's got a semi-cool backstory, that's all you really need to know. But the Giddish arrive and they demand the people of Wormwood swear fealty to them and threaten to kill all the folk to prove they're serious. Naturally being the guardian of Wormwood, Corvus swoops in, spams Swoosh and the Giga Chat spell, taking out the invading force, forcing them to retreat, and saving the village, although getting more injured in the process. From there, more recovery happens. And Serana, that girl, this girl, not the ghost, we aren't there yet, falls in love with Corvus, which he reciprocates. But all he can really do about it is give her this necklace, and before he can say anything deeper, the Giddish Empire arrive with an even larger invading force. Corvus says he'll fight them off, but the village elder and Serana plead with him not to. He's not fully healed and will likely die in battle. They plead for Corvus to hide near a waterfall with Serana while the village sends the Giddish Empire away on a goose chase. He begrudgingly decides to go with Serana and hide. And this moment is really interesting because in this instance, Corvus places his trust and faith in humanity. He has been kind to the people and he hopes that they will repay that kindness. That ends up being a very big mistake. At the waterfall, Corvus is still distressed. He wants to go back and fight. He wants to save the village because to him, it's his duty to protect them. So he decides to go back and fight, injuries and all. Yet before he leaves, Serana reveals that she has a medicine that can heal his wounds and offers it to him. Grateful and not thinking too much of it because he trusts her, Corvus takes the medicine, which in actuality is a sleeping agent, causing Corvus to lose consciousness. Shortly afterwards, the Giddish soldiers arrive. It turns out the elders sold Corvus out, instructing Serana to give him the sleeping agent in order to hand Corvus over to the Giddish Empire. Corvus manages to wake for a few moments to hear this revelation. Corvus is put in chains. Unable to resist, the soldiers then kill the elder and Serana, taking Corvus into custody. For the next couple of centuries, Corvus would be chained beneath the citadel of the Giddish Empire, where his power was siphoned off, trapped and unable to move while humans mocked, belittled, and used him. Even after the Giddish Empire was defeated by the hero Graynarl, no one came to rescue Corvus. The humans never came searching. The Celestians eventually gave up, and his prayers to the Almighty went unanswered. For centuries, he sat alone in his prison, growing a greater resentment towards humanity and the Almighty. Even Serana, the woman he loved, would become the center of his hatred. Her betrayal utterly broke him. All of this negativity caused his powers to grow and fester until finally, after centuries of imprisonment, Corvus' rage and anger manifested in newfound power, as he was able to do something, firing off a bolt of his hatred directly into the realm of the Almighty, defeating and imprisoning the Creator, while also sending multiple Celestians plummeting down to the world of mortals, just like him all those years ago. Setting into motion the events of Dragon Quest IX as the protagonist is one such Celestian who falls from grace. Ahem. We're not done yet. The class is still going. Check the time. That kind of sound like an ending, but no, we're not done yet. We got more to do. So listen. As you can tell, Corvus is pretty sick and pretty sad with it. He has an actual reason for why he wants to end all of humanity and life in general, besides being a demon, or being evil, or reading Twitter. it goes a bit deeper. It relies on human relationships. It even manages to create a parallel with the protagonist, even if it's not outright stated, but both of them do fall from grace. Luck plays a factor into it, but both of them were nursed back to health by a kind young woman, Aaron in the protagonist's case and Serana for Corvus. Although the better parallel comes from when the protagonist falls from grace for a second time and lands in Wormwood, where initially they are ostracized and given aid by a kind stranger. This boy Wallace in this case. Both Corvus and the protagonist come to see the worst in humanity. Naturally, Corvus sees this through the Kiddish Empire and his betrayal, while the protagonist sees it through the corrupting influence of the Figs. However, the big difference between them comes in understanding. The protagonist and the player are able to realize that people are not inherently bad. Circumstance matters, and that is something Corvus never realized. He was too naive and too surface level in how he viewed humans. He allowed a single instance to define his view on all of humanity. Now obviously both Corvus and the protagonist are Celestians and they have a purpose relating to humanity. But they also serve as stand-ins for the almighty Zenith and his daughter Celestia. Ironically, I think I'm using that correctly, Corvus is very similar to the almighty of Dragon Quest IX. Both of them actually do want to wipe out humanity for their selfishness and dark impulses, both of which comes from a surface level understanding. While the silent protagonist and Celestia, daughter of Zenith, don't want that. They can see beyond the surface and see what people can do. Evil is certainly a lot louder, but humanity can still do good. Also, remember when I said Corvus was naive and how that circumstance kinda sorta matters? Well, I didn't tell you the full Corvus backstory. Because, see, Serana never actually betrayed him. Well, she kinda did, but she didn't mean for him to get imprisoned. She did lie about the medicine, but did that so Corvus would be able to hide without rushing off and dying in battle. However, it was the Elder, and only the Elder, who sold Corvus out. The rest of the village had nothing to do with it. Serana and Corvus were both tricked, and as Serana is about to be killed, she regrets her actions and laments the fact that she says, "Even if I die here today, I will find you. Wherever you are, however long it takes, I will find you." And she didn't lie. As a ghost, she spent centuries looking for him. But yeah, that's heartwarming and all, but it's still really messed up how no one actually found him. That makes me sad. I think it's sad. Now, what does Corvus actually do in the game? Yeah, it's really not much. In fact, he kind of only shows up in the last act. But like, hey, there's like loads of little clues about him. Like in the prologue, you can find this memorial to him in the observatory, where all the Celestians mourn his loss. That's kind of cool. But in terms of appearance, well, after the penultimate dungeon, you find him in his prison cell, which he hasn't left. In fact, despite reviving the entire Kiddish Empire in order to spread chaos and exact his revenge on humanity, Corvus did all of that from his cell, showing that either he still couldn't physically leave it, or he couldn't force himself to leave. Okay, this part here is completely off script. Okay, I forgot to include this, but I'll just keep going and try to ramble in a coherent manner. Okay, sorry about that. Now, I know that Corvus doesn't do a lot, but he sets into motion everything. Because of how he, imprisoned the Almighty, he sends the protagonist into the world, and then also disrupts the figs, these magical fruits that corrupt people and turn them into monsters. He does that and allows for chaos to spread across the world of Dragon Quest IX, turning people into monsters and creating chaos. And like I mentioned briefly earlier, he also revived the entire Kiddish Empire as zombies. Okay, that's about all Corvus does, okay? I'll take you back to the rest of the video that's been scripted and mostly edited. Sorry. From there, he beats up the protagonist Morkel and flies off, taking control of the realm of the Almighty, and begins to prepare for how he will wipe humanity off the planet. And then his next appearance is literally his boss fight, which is quite good. I like his track, and how the battle theme incorporates the overall theme, which I like to interpret it as that Corvus has some hesitation in his actions, like somewhere deep in his heart he still feels that it's his duty to protect humanity. After his demon form is beaten, and can I just say, this demon form looks so good. It's great. It looks super cool. Like, he got these horns, the sick wings. It's green and like he just looks fast. I think it's really cool, and the Toriyama did a great job designing this thing. Oh, I love it. Oh yeah. Anyway, he loses. After he loses, Serana arrives and explains everything to Corvus about his betrayal. From there, Corvus stops and reflects. He acknowledges that his actions are unforgivable and genuinely wrong, but that he's thankful the protagonist stopped him before he did something so awful. You know, genocide. He knows he can't be forgiven, but is glad that he was wrong. Then he and Serana ascend to the afterlife, I think. Although, that's what it looks like, but then like the post-game you find out that he didn't, no, he went and talked to this other angel's sister, and said sorry and told her some stuff. But anyway, they ascend to the afterlife, probably. And that brings his tale mostly to a close. So yeah, I really like Corvus. I think he's a good villain and perfect for the kind of story Dragon Quest IX wants to tell. The game is all about this sense of adventure and your journey as a hero, so I think it's really fitting that the final boss is a fallen hero. He's sympathetic, but he doesn't get off scot-free. He's allowed to reflect on his actions and show regret and remorse. I naturally wish he got more screen time, but he made the most of what he was given. Also, in Spanish, his name is Luzbel, which is kinda cool. He's got like a little combo of Lucifer and Beelzebub in there, and I know there's no transition into this factoid, but see, I just thought it was cool and I didn't know where to slide it. Sorry. As a sympathetic villain, Corvus succeeds and steps above the demon lords of the past, cementing himself as a great villain. I don't know where he ranks among the Dragon Quest fandom's ranking of villains, but I'd hope that he's not in last place. Anyway, that's about it for today's class. I hope you enjoyed it, and well, if you got Dragon Quest IX and got some thoughts on the old Corvus, then let me know in the comments. I would love to read them. Also, if you don't hate my voice, maybe consider sticking around, because like I've got some more videos planned talking about other things that I'm, into. No, not that I'm into Corvus or anything like that. No, not at all. No, though he is quite attractive and he does be looking pretty.